It is July the 1st on Season 10, our final season of this Oldham Athletics save, and we have to get ourselves promoted. We have to get ourselves promoted, otherwise these 10 seasons have been a failure, despite the fact that we've got ourselves all the way from the Vanarama National into the Championship. Promotion is the goal this year, and in order to do that, we have £6.139 million to spend. And have we done any business so far? Yes, quite a lot in fact. We have sold Kedwin or Sedwin Staples. He has gone over to Burnley for £3.3 million, signed on a free transfer, moving on after just 2 seasons, but a decent profit there. We've also lost Jack Bycroft, Ollie Harrison and Hayden Hull on free transfers after their contract expired, but we have brought in some players as well. 5 of them, in fact, and 3 of them have cost actual money. Stephen Gordon is not one of those players that have cost money. He has come in on a free transfer from Everton. Decent centre-back. He's come in, obviously, for a bit of depth, but also he can play as a right-back, which we kind of need people who can do that because we don't have any fullbacks. Shay Seager-Roberts is next up, signed from Manchester City after his contract expired. He's kind of one for the future, which I know doesn't make a huge amount of sense in Season 10 of a 10-season save, but we've still managed to do it anyway because I can't help myself. For £350,000, we have brought in Peruvian central defender Hector Espinosa from Oxford United. Yeah, I know you were expecting from Alianza, but no, he's come in from Oxford. They brought him in on a free transfer. I'm not sure this is the best way to spend money, but as a versatile defender and maybe defensive midfielder, he's actually quite good and quite useful, so I'm happy with that. For £1.4 million, we have brought ourselves a starting central defender in the shape of Mark Anderson, 24 years of age, 10 caps for Scotland, formerly of St Johnstone and Fulham. £1.4 million is not a huge amount of money. Some of the other players that I was looking at ended up going to Premier League sides. I think one of them was trying to come from Rangers, and I think he ended up going to someone like a Newcastle to sit on their subs bench, which is annoying, but Mark Anderson, I think, is a good player for us. Ignore the fact he's on 30 grand a week, okay? We kind of need to start throwing big money at people, otherwise we're never going to get promoted. Speaking of big money, we've not thrown it at the contract, but we have at the transfer fee to Blackburn Rovers. Petrit Shabani, 24-year-old English goalkeeper with under-19 caps. He is also part Albanian as well. He has cost us £1.5 million, which actually is not a huge amount of money. He's our new number 1 goalkeeper. I fear Rubio might be leaving, so Shabani has come in. And when I say I fear Rubio might be leaving, he's got bids of £8.25 million, which I feel like it's good money. It's good money, we might need to do it. Something else we are doing this season is we are changing over our formation to the 4-2-3-1 Black Panther formation, link in the description down below, because basically this season is all or nothing. If we do not get promoted, we have failed my objectives for getting back to the Premier League with Oldham Athletic after 10 seasons, so we're going to have a change, and that is also the reason why we've started to bring in players who can actually play as fullbacks, because we literally have not needed them for 9 years. We've still got £6 million to spend of our transfer budget, so we're now going to jump forward to September and see how well we've managed to do a bit more investing. And obviously we're going to expecting to sell some players like your Rubios. So we've got, arguably, we're going to have more than $6 million to spend. Our transfer budget's gone up. I can't help myself, okay? I can't help myself. We've sold players and we brought players, but we haven't paid much money for the players that have come into the club, and we've done all right with the players that we've sold. Ike Rubio, first one to leave. He did move over to Swansea in the end, 8.25, potentially going up to £11.25 million. So a decent amount of money there for essentially a goalkeeper that we had already replaced. Bradley Gregg has spent 1 season playing for us on a free transfer and has moved over to Leeds United for 7.75, potentially going up to 8.75. Will Armitage, who's been here for a very, very long time, in fact, season 1, maybe season 2, we brought him in. He's moved over to Reading for £450,000. Omar Al-Matari has moved over to Russia for not a lot of money, £44,500, so technically it's a profit. Billy Heaps, who we signed last season and played once, has moved over to Regensburg over in Germany. Paul Derbyshire, who has spent a season out on loan for Carlisle, has moved over to Reading for £180,000. And Nathan Wood, who's been here for a fair few seasons, has moved over to Blackburn for £1.2 million. Joining the club, we're going to fly through them because there's quite a few players to talk about. Dwayne Joseph, first up, 22-year-old Grenadian central defender, 24 caps to his name, signed on a free transfer, formerly of Everton. Probably will get a lot of football for us. Nana Abubakar, 24-year-old Ghanaian attacking midfielder, signed from Wrexham on a free transfer. He's very, very good. Christopher Wickham signed on a free transfer, formerly of Norwich, and a bit of Morecambe probably on loan. 23 years of age, central defender. He's one for the future. I say for the future, he's a backup. 33-year-old Lewis O'Brien has joined the club on a free transfer. I needed some experience. All of our players, our starting 11, were like 25 years of age and under, so we brought in somebody who's a bit more experienced. He does have a broken leg, however. Another player who's come in with a bit more experience is Jaivaro Dilrosun, who is signed from AZ Alkmaar once again on a free transfer. I feel like O'Brien and Dilrosun are not going to get any game time whatsoever, but they're there because they are veterans, possibly. Sebastian Torres is next up, a Uruguayan right-back signed from Defensor Sporting, a very, very good club in Uruguay to go steal some decent youngsters from, coming on a free transfer. 22 years of age, he's valued at just under £10 million. I think we've got ourselves a possible gem here. And the final free transfer is Owen Phillips, signed from Aston Villa on a free transfer. There you go. He's been here since literally the start of the save. He's come in. He's a very good central midfielder. Obviously, we're going to have to play him as a defensive midfielder. But Owen Phillips, I think, is a good signing. We've also loaned in 2 players, which is something that I don't do too often. Yong Jin Park has signed on loan from Cardiff until the end of the season. He has cost us a bit of money, £175,000, which is not a lot of money at all. I'm not convinced he's going to play a lot, but he kind of just gives us a bit more depth. And somebody who I think will play a lot is Simon Kruk, who is a Polish international attacker, 17 caps, 4 goals to his name, signed on loan from West Ham until the end of the season. And I don't think he's costing us anything. I think literally the whole thing's for free. Yeah, we're paying nothing. They just want to make sure he plays. And in fact, they can't terminate the loan, so even if he doesn't play, doesn't matter. I have just realised we are paying 10 grand a week for him. It's fine. It's still not a lot. So that is our transfer business. Obviously, you can see there a whole load of loan deals as well going on. I don't think there's anything massively exciting going on. Ashley Rogers to Bristol Rovers. I think he spent last year on loan at Bristol Rovers. He's just extended that for another season. Anyone else? I don't think there's anyone that we care about. So with all of those transfers done, we're locking in just one player, and that is Luca Fletcher as that attacking striker in the middle on his own. He is going to be the one player locked into this formation. If we just do a very quick pick best 11, this is what it would look like. So Rogers is out on loan, Cliff is out on loan, and Kasumu all out on loan. So yeah, that's not ideal, is it? If we do that, it would be, surely it's not O'Brien. So that's our best 11 based on players actually at the club. I'd say Abubakar will definitely be playing. If we lock in Fletcher up front, I'm quite happy with that pairing. That'll be very useful. Springett as well, getting another season playing for us. I think I'm not sure he's good. I said this last year, I'm not sure he's good. We did have some interest in him in the summer, but they were kind of nowhere near his valuation. They were offering like 6, 7, 8 million pounds when he's worth 17.25. I want near that, to be honest. One worrying thing, however, start of the season hasn't really gone to plan at the moment. 6 games played, 1 win against Ipswich, 2 draws against Portsmouth and Derby, and 3 defeats against Hull, Sheffield United and Preston mean we're down in 18th place. We certainly have to turn this around if we want to get ourselves promoted to the Premier League this season. With that in mind, let's jump forward to the start of January to see how things are gone. That is much nicer reading. 5th place in the table. We are deep in the playoffs. 14 wins, 5 draws, 7 defeats, 47 points. We're actually not too far off the automatic promotion spots. By not too far off, we're 5 points off and a huge amount of goal difference because Fulham are in positive 30. But we are not too far away. This is good reading. I'm happy with how the season is going so far. Obviously, being January, the transfer window is open and the board have for some reason decided to give us a little bit more money to spend. We've now got just over £16 million to spend. However, we are well over our wage budget, so we might need to do a little bit of tweaking to try and sort that out. Right, we've jumped to the start of February and a lot of transfer business has now just happened. Ian Graham, first up, he's left signing for Palermo. Basically wanted to get him off the books. He's gone there for £145,000. Dilrosun played literally no matches for us. He's moved over to Willem II for £425. Not even £1,000, just £425. Andreas has moved over to Plymouth for just under £300,000. Charlie Green has gone over to Coventry for £400,000. Will Smallbone in the final year of his contract has somehow managed to leave the club for £1.8 million going over to Sheffield Wednesday. For £3.9 million, we have sold Shannon Joins over to Cardiff. He wasn't really doing the job for us at all. And Aaron O'Leary, a player who we signed a few years ago, has moved over to China for £17.5 million, potentially rising to £19.25 million. This one came out of the blue, and it was so ridiculously good, I could not turn this one down. So we sold Aaron O'Leary, who was our main centre-back for literally 3 seasons. So, yeah, we needed to replace him. And we did with Tom Atchison. We've actually spent a lot of money in January. He is a Northern Irish international signed from Fulham for £4.5 million, which is a steep amount of money, but I think we've got ourselves a decent player. I think we've got ourselves a better player in Jack Kingdon, who has signed from Dundee United. He's cost £5 million. Formerly of, I'm going to say, starts to save off at Man United, went to Bournemouth, went to Dundee, now moved over to us, and I think he's a very good player. He's probably going to be one of the first names on the team sheet in defence. And our most expensive player that we brought in this entire save is Jace Fitzgerald, signed from Nottingham Forest for £6.25 million. He's expensive, formerly of Man United, so we've gone, rather than doing the Man City tactic, which is what I've been doing for the past 9 seasons, we've gone and done the Man United one this time around. Fitzgerald, I think he's going to be a very good player for us. And that is all of our transfer business. So actually, in January alone, we spent £16 million. But overall this season, we brought in £42 million. A whole load of loan deals as well going on. I don't think anyone massively exciting really is going on there. To be honest, there's a few players that maybe might be of interest. One thing we have done, however, is recall Ashley Rogers from Bristol Rovers because we kind of needed a left back and they keep saying he's our best one. So Ashley Rogers has returned, although I'm not convinced he is our best left back now. They're saying Mark Anderson should be our best left back, which I'd argue is probably right. But I am going to play Rogers in left back because if we don't, they'll play Mark Anderson and I don't want him playing there because Mark Anderson is also one of our best central defenders, and I don't want to lock him in at left back because if we get suspensions or injuries and things like that, it means we kind of can't play him in the best position for him. So we're going to leave that open. Rogers is going to be left back. Luca Fletcher is going to be up front. 19 goals so far in 28 appearances, 25 in all competitions. I think Luca Fletcher is doing the business this season, and I know because I can see he scored a lot of goals. And we are still obviously doing quite well in the Championship, 5th place now in the table. We are 8 points behind Crystal Palace and Portsmouth, who are both joint at the top of the table. In the FA Cup, we are through to the 5th round where we have Brighton, and we've been knocked out of the Carabao Cup, which I think we were knocked out anyway before we even got to January. So because I think we might be able to get ourselves into the playoffs, we're going to jump forward to the end of the regular season just before the playoffs, see how well things have gone for our Oldham side in the final season of this 10-season challenge to get back to the Premier League. It is the 22nd of April. We are not quite actually at the end of the season because we have a chance of getting ourselves automatically promoted to the Premier League. With 2 games to play, there are 4 teams that could fill those top 2 spots. Crystal Palace, Fulham, Oldham and Portsmouth. All we need to do is arguably win both of our last 2 games. We have West Brom, which is a match that is certainly winnable, and then we have Blackburn, which again is a match that I think should be winnable. So West Brom in 11th, Blackburn down in 15th place. Crystal Palace, we can see there, have Birmingham on the final game of the season, who are down in 23rd, so arguably Palace should probably win that. Fulham have Sheffield Wednesday, who are down in 21st. Maybe we can hope Sheffield Wednesday are in kind of this little bit of a relegation scrap and they really need to get some points against Fulham. Maybe we can hope for that. Right, we've jumped forward to the end of the regular season now. 2 more matches were played, and we have just missed out on automatic promotion. We finished 3rd place, 2 points behind Fulham, and frustratingly, we did not even lose any games. We drew with West Brom. That is what has broken us. If we beat West Brom, and then we won our final game of the season as well against Blackburn, we still arguably would not have made it, because Fulham won both of their matches, Palace won both of theirs as well. It means we are in the playoffs. In the final season of this save, we're in the playoffs. We are going to have Burnley in the first knockout round of the playoffs, and then Sheffield United or Portsmouth in the final. So let's jump forward to the other side of, I'm going to say, the Burnley games. Match number 1 of the playoffs did not start particularly well against Burnley. 22 minutes in play, and Burnley open the scoring thanks to, I'm going to say, Jack Clark. However, just a few minutes later, about 5 minutes later, a mistake from Mark Travers in goal means Luca Fletcher can nick the ball off him and eventually, put the ball away for a 1-1 draw. However, at Boundary Park, things went in our favour most definitely with a 4-1 win, spring it with 2 goals, this being the opening one of the match. And our final goal of the match, to make it 4-0 at the time, Burnley did score later on in the match, comes thanks to Fletcher, who tucks the ball away past Travers once again, like he did in the home leg, and it means we are through to the final A final that will be up against Portsmouth. A Portsmouth side who, by the way, have recently been relegated. They were relegated from the Premier League just 2 seasons ago, finished 13th last year, and they managed to get themselves into the playoffs this time around. We are going to jump forward to the other side of the playoff final against Portsmouth. This is all or nothing. We have to win this. On one of our many visits to Wembley over the course of this save, it did not start very well at all against Portsmouth. They take the lead after just 3 minutes, Bruno with the goal. But it was only a matter of time before the floodgates begin to open. Oldham with the ball, Fitzgerald forward to Abubakar, takes a few touches, passes it past the goalkeeper for 1-1. Then as we move into the second half, we intercept the ball. Fletcher collects it from Abubakar, takes a few touches, tucks it away. We take the lead in the playoff final. And not too long after that, we make it 3-1. Abubakar, with acres of space, blasts it past the goalkeeper. And we were not done there. In the 85th minute, we come surging forward once again. Gordon to Fitzgerald, back to Joseph Gordon. And the right back, I'm going to say right back, tucks it away to make it 4-1. Portsmouth did get a late consolation goal in this one, but obviously being 4-1 up, it was too little, too late. McConnell, I believe, is the man to do it. No, he's not. It's Miles. It was a 4-2 victory. And that victory means we are back in the Premier League. It has taken exactly 10 seasons for us to do it, and almost certainly the tactic change has made a massive improvement to our side, but we are back into the Premier League. I can't actually genuinely believe we've managed to do this. So when we look at the league table, 108 goals scored compared to last season where we only managed to score, 87 the season before that. We were not high scoring. I mean, 80 is still pretty good for finishing down in 16th place, but that change in formation suddenly brings in all of the goals, and we are back to the Premier League with Oldham. And as you can see from the squad here, the man getting most of those goals, 39 of them in fact, is Luca Fletcher. He's back to his old ways. It's his second best season since the 29-30 season. We've got Abubakar, who's been very good for the one season he's been here so far. 15 goals and 8 assists. Springett as well, 15 goals. But more importantly, 21 assists for Tony Springett. That's ridiculous. That's just far too many assists. Even Simon Crook managing to get 13 goals and 9 assists as well on loan from West Ham. Have we got anyone else breaking double figures? We do not, but we've got Jordan Ramirez playing on the left-hand side, getting 11 assists, which is good as well. We have done probably, maybe the unthinkable, getting ourselves promoted. Player of the season, I'm going to say player of the season. I assume it will be Luca Fletcher. 55 appearances, 39 goals, 13 assists in all competitions. Back to the Premier League with Oldham Athletic.